In this episode, I sat down with Tanner Shuck, who since entering the industry in 2018 has led the team that he's been on half the years since the very beginning. He sold over $2.2 million in door-to-door sales pest control himself. He affectionately earned the name in the industry Mr. Quality with a contract value average since 2018 of over $1,000. Tanner has won the award nationally for the lowest cancellation rate. He has won the Transformation Challenge nationally, and he has won the Shield Championship back-to-back years where he led the team in sales to that victory. If you've been on his team, you've loved him when he was producing. You've probably hated him once or twice when he's been holding you accountable. And if he was a competitor of yours, you definitely had a couple bitter feelings towards him during those competitions. But either way, he's somebody that not only has performed at the highest level with a roughly 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 closing ratio on the doors, but he's also trained some of the highest performing rookies nationally. So I hope you guys enjoy and get out of this episode as much as I did. Tanner, what's the thing that drew you to door-to-door sales in the first place, and what led you to pursuing, becoming elite at it?
Yeah, good question, man. I would say, dude, it all started at Genesis. I was actually using the cable machine this morning. I ran into Robbie Nowick.
Let's go.
And I was like, you see that cable? That is where I was recruited 8 years ago. 8 years ago, the exact location.
Dang.
And when I was first approached, it was you and Jeremiah, and I was like, man, this sounds like the dumbest thing ever. I was engineering technician at Magna. Right down the road there, I had, 401k benefits, paid time off, like all that stuff. And it was like bug juice, door to door. Sounds so stupid. And you probably left that interaction thinking there was a 0% chance I ever signed. And in my mind, there was also a 0% chance, But after thinking about it for long enough, I never really had a close relationship with my dad. But there was one thing that he said that stuck out to me so much. And he said, you could be the smartest person in the world, but if you're unable to communicate those ideas to someone who isn't as smart as you, you'd never be further ahead. Which told me communication was the number one skill in life. So I went to Kettering University in Flint. Engineering schools are known for just being like nothing bad about them, but nerd schools. People don't have really good communication skills. They sit in front of a computer and do engineering work. And that was me. I was kind of awkward, Still am to this day, but I just own it. But I realized that if I didn't improve my communication, I'd never achieve what I wanted to achieve in life. I had big footsteps to fill, big shoes to fill. My grandpa was super successful, and I didn't want to live off that. I wanted to make something of myself. So that's when I reached back out to you and was like, hey, what's the deal with this? How's it work? All that stuff. And yeah, I ended up signing on, and dude, best decision of my life. It's changed my life incredibly, which is funny because it's literally at first I thought we were going to be selling Raid bug spray door to door. Hey, you guys need these cans, bro? Yep. Y'all need pest control? And no, it just ended up, it's blossomed into what it is today,
Back then it took a leap of faith because nobody knew what it was. So the idea I imagine hit you was kind of preposterous. Mm-hmm. We were talking about an office that didn't even exist yet.
Yeah.
And there was nobody in Michigan that had been doing this. So shout out to you for having the belief back then that now there's ample evidence that what it is that we do is a real job.
Yeah.
But back then, so different. Do you remember what happened at Genesis when we started pulling people that we thought would be good from there?
It was crazy, man. Well, I just remember I had very limited influences at that time. I didn't have very many friends, close acquaintances, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so there wasn't really any haters. There wasn't people that were oh, this is a stupid idea. Oh, it's a scam. I never had those thoughts. I was dude, I'll try anything once, Mm-hmm. I'll definitely try it. Worst case scenario, I was well off. I had money, so I wasn't too worried, but worst case scenario, it didn't work and I just did something else. But I sold my house, broke up with my girlfriend of 3 years, and gave her every belonging in my house except for what fit my 2-door sports car, my Nissan, and drove to Chicago. It was the option. I was going to do it.
Do you remember when you first got there, Tanner, what you went through
Chicago?
physically? Yeah.
Dude, yeah. I had gastroenteritis. It was horrible. I remember, I only bring it up a couple times. because it was absolutely hilarious. But you were my roommate my first year, you and Angel, the coolest roommates to this day.
Hey, let's go.
And I remember stocking the fridge with just protein shakes and Essentia and Halo Top, of course.
Hey, let's
Dude,
go.
I think I spent so much on Halo Top that summer. And, yeah, I had gastroenteritis. And, dude, I was just throwing up constantly. Couldn't keep food down. It was like a 2-week span. And I remember there was 3 times where you came in to talk to me. And you're like, dude, I'm putting up a fight for you. But Mike, man, he wants you gone.
Well, he didn't know you. He thought that you were just
Well, he just had no idea who I was.
Yeah.
And still to this day, like, I don't think there's been one instance where somebody told me that they were sick, where they were actually sick. So I understand why it happened. But it's crazy to think, like, Mike almost fired me 3 times before I even got started because I was sick. And it just blows my mind because, like, what if that happened, you know?
I'm not even mad at him because you know that 99 times out of 100,
the amount of people that I've fired that were
right.
sick is crazy.
Yeah. That was insane. And then when you did step onto the door, so right after you were sick, that was the coldest April.
Coldest April of 115 years in Chicago history. The average temperature per day was 37 degrees.
Do you remember what that was like?
Oh, it was miserable. I remember there was guys that would quit because they were hiding in porta potties trying to be warm. They were just unprepared. And I think it was Kevin. He was like, yeah, I reached out to Ethan. He never reached back out to me. Like, I was just sitting in a porta potty cold. I was like, number one, like, why are you sitting in a porta potty? Run door to door, you'll get warmed up quick. But it was crazy, man. You're selling in snow for bugs and you don't even know what you're doing yet.
Isn't it wild to think the people that stuck through that challenging time, like where they're at now? And I remember, Tanner, it was wild. I remember coming back in the middle of the day. I got a text message from somebody that said, hey, you might want to check on this apartment.
Yeah.
I went back to that apartment. They left a letter saying like, hey, we just can't do this. They had just started.
Yeah.
And they all quit.
Yeah.
They all left. And it was just, I mean, man, you just had to push through back then.
Yeah.
Anybody that's still here.
I know. It's like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of early starts in cold weather markets because there's such a quick fall off. Mm-hmm. But, dude, the people that stay, they're solid. No, they're a rock, though. They're an immovable object. They're staying. So it's cool because, like, I feel like it filters out that level of resilience immediately off rip way quicker than standard. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, dude, that was a cold spring.
What else sticks out to you in your rookie year, like when you first started out?
I would say my rookie year, like, just my attention was so good. Like, I was truly trying to help people. Alan, back in the day, he used to say that he would get out to hood and he would say a prayer before he got out of his car. And he would say, like, you know, God, help me to help these people, help me to have good interactions. Like, he truly wanted to help people. And I took that to heart. And there was this one time I sold a police officer. And, like, I didn't purposely mislead him, but it was like one of those things where it was like, yeah, the granules will kill mosquitoes. And as with experience, you've learned, like, you don't want to say any iffy things like that. And he was under the assumption that it did mosquitoes. And I remember me, as a rookie, I wasn't that well off, but I had some money. I paid for a year of mosquito service for this guy. Because you're like first responder, police officer, and I misled him. Like, but yeah, I remember my first year, like, anytime I ran into anybody that would talk bad about EcoShield or they had to pay a cancel penalty, still to this day, I mean, I did it twice last summer. If they're like, yeah, I had to pay this unfair penalty or whatever it was, I'm like, oh, what's your Venmo? Like, dude, if it was really unfair, like, my bad on us. I'll fix it right now. It wasn't my problem, but I fixed it.
Hey, that's you're beyond a real one for that.
But yeah, if you go out there with the true intention of helping people, I think the receptiveness that you get is way better.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. It's a vibration or a vibe and energy that you carry with you.
Yeah. It's like aura, transfer of energy. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Were there certain things that stand out to you in your career that you came across that helped you understand the value in what it is that, you're providing?
Yeah, dude, so many times. I mean, even guys that have knocked for like a month, you'll realize that how many people you run into that have gotten Lyme's disease from ticks, how many people are allergic to bee stings. Oh my gosh, straight sent to hospital type stuff. People that mow their own yards that get attacked by ground bees. Like, it happens to an average homeowner, at least like once a year or once every 2 years, they get just attacked by 14, 15 ground bees. And it's like, that is crazy. So all of those things, as well as like the damage that's done to houses by some of the insects out here, I think that pest control is just necessity. So there was one story that stuck in my mind. It was 2022 summer. I remember I was knocking in South Line, one of the most heavily solicited hoods ever. And I was popping off. It was August. And I remember actually the following year, I had a guy that told me if I sent him back to that neighborhood, he would quit because it was so difficult. I was like, yeah, my PR hood, baby. That's juice. Like, send me in there. I'll go back in there. But I got a call from somebody that I had pitched in Birmingham. And she was using Orkin monthly, so buggy, hated spiders. And she called me and she was like, I got Lyme's disease last week from a tick in my backyard.
Wow.
And it was one of those things where like Lyme disease can stick with you for life. It's like the quicker you catch it, the less time it takes. But the rough numbers are like 9 months minimum flu-like symptoms. And it's like, holy cow. If only I was a good enough salesman to build enough value and sell her, she probably would have never gotten Lyme's disease, you know?
Yeah. What's that story that you ran into? It still is something that I remember about somebody expressing to you the damage and the cost associated with a carpenter ant problem at the back of their house. Do you remember this?
Dude, there's been so many. I had somebody tell me that they had to spend $30,000 getting their roof trusses replaced because they had a slow leak in their roof. They didn't know about it. As soon as moisture gets into that wood, it's softer. Like carpenter ants just love it. And they spent $30,000. They had to get their roof taken off, vapor barrier, plywood. They had to replace the trusses, literally the framing of the roof because of carpenter ants.
Will you talk to me a little bit about the preparation? I know that when I think about the most elite performers, obviously there's so much that you do, and we'll get into some of your processes on the doors, but preparation, and go as far back, if you will, in the preparation process as exists. What do you do preparation-wise to perform the way that you do on the doors?
I think a lot of preparation, like it's nutrition, it's food, it's, having backup hoods and everything like that. But it's also kind of like your health, I mean, I can't tell you the last time I got sick during the summer.
What do you do to take care of your health?
It's evolved over the years. Like my very first year is poor. My second year, I remember I roomed in the partner's apartment, and Gaines was there sometimes, Mike, Alan.
Yeah.
And I would get Taco Bell every single night. And I was sick all the time, But just the food that I was feeding my body, I would eat roller dogs, tornadoes.
Talking about at the gas station?
At the gas station.
Oh, that's...
On my way out to Hood, that was my breakfast.
Like playing the lotto.
So it was like, yeah, it was really bad. But my nutrition back then wasn't good, and I would get sick frequently, or I just didn't feel good. And it compounds over time. I mean, a lot of people know that I've had like stomach issues to this day. I mean, even this morning, bro, I was in the shower throwing up at Genesis. I can't do pre-workout. I try, I can't. But I would say preparation health-wise this year was my best.
Wait, so you didn't work out, right? You went home.
No, I worked out. Of course, I worked out.
How many times did, before we leave this topic, how many times do you think you threw up? Because you do have, there are digestive challenges that you have, right? Yeah. How many times did you throw up before your knocking day this past year? A percentage of the days?
100% every day on my way out to neighborhood from June, July, and August of last year. And then this spring, it started up with pre-workout. I would say starting in January, I couldn't drink any pre-workout. I only drank water because if I drank anything else, like something wrong with my stomach, no idea to this day what it is, but I would throw up. I mean, in this summer, I threw up every day at least once. Yeah. I mean, my boys knew. At the gas station, I was just at the back of the car throwing up. It was just part of what it was. But it was like, I mean, I'm not going to, your feelings and the way that you feel, your goals don't care about them. Yeah. They don't. If you're serious about your goals and you're serious about life and wanting to succeed, it doesn't matter if you wake up and your stomach hurts. It doesn't matter if you have to rip a couple throw ups in somebody's bush while you're doing an inspection. Like, that doesn't change the fact that what you're doing right now needs to be done at a high level, and you need to excel at it in order to succeed in life.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember you showing I remember when I first knocked doors with you, there's a story that sticks out in my mind. This was your rookie year, but before we even got to market. So this was like your first day on the doors. We were going to do preseason down in Arizona. There was a van full of us. Yeah, right?
I know exactly what you're saying.
There was a van full of us. I think Dylan Sinnott was part of that van. No, Ethan was part of that van. Trombley, Jeremiah, a bunch of the guys from back in the day. But we went to go out to the doors, and we had a couple problems. All right, you didn't have any service on your iPad.
Yep.
And so we wanted to take care of that, right? So we head to the AT&T store.
Yeah.
All right, so we get there, and you have a balance. I want to say I remember roughly the number, and it's about $450.
$1,400.
I want to say that I remember. Hold up.
$1,400.
Hold up.
Somehow 18.
It had a 4. It had a 4. There we go. Okay, so there was a $1,400 charge that you had to pay in order to get that iPad back on.
Yeah.
So this is my first exposure to you, right? And as far as like seeing you in action outside the gym or training, and so it's $1,400. Like, hey, $1,400, and you're just like, okay, put it on here.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing that stuck out to me was the lack of reaction and just the next part of the process. And then, so we went from there, jumped in the car, in the van to head back to Hood. All right. So when we get to Hood, you had just got a new iPhone.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had just got a new iPhone. So we get to Hood, you get out of the van, your iPhone falls onto the floor, screen shattered. All right. And then once again, the key thing that I remember here is that you were just like, oh, that shattered. And then you like just continue with the process. The last thing is that there were 3 things that happened, and your stomach issues, the challenge that you deal with started back then, because in addition to the $1,400 that you spent that day to get your iPad on, the shattered screen for your phone that you had just got a brand new iPhone, you got out of the car and you threw up. Mm-hmm. And then that was like when we were actually to the part where I was dropping you off. And so you threw up, you wiped your mouth off. You're like, which door am I starting on?
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was like, okay, all right, we're like, this kid is built different. This kid's savage. So
the timeline is pretty accurate. I think, I don't know, man. I think what gets in a lot of people's way is their ego. Like, you know, if I went into the AT&T store and I was like, how do I get this turned on? And I tried to fight him about it or argue. It's like, because I am who I am, you know, like I'm a big dog. You can't do that to me. Like, just pay the freaking thing. There's no way around it. Like, there's no sense expelling unnecessary energy to something you cannot change. You just got to deal with. So, but yeah, I remember that clear as day my rookie year. Can't trust those technician pockets in the tech shirts, man. I leaned over to tie my shoe. It just slid right out, shattered.
Okay, that's what it was.
I was down bad my first day. But it was just like one of those things where in the moment, I don't recall ever having any idea where I was like, dude, this is a sign. This is the worst thing ever. Like, maybe this is my sign not to do this. It's like, dude, I was in Arizona. I think it was February or March. Beautiful weather. Mm-hmm. It had to have been February because we started in April 1st. So, but yeah, beautiful weather. Was enjoying myself 100%. Getting my teeth kicked in like no other. And this wife was like, hold up, my husband hates spiders and hates our company. Let me grab him. He just came out. He was like, you can do the spiders? 100% I can. I remember I was shaking so bad signing that guy up. I was like, this is it. It's real. And if it wasn't for that deal, I don't know if I'd be here today. But yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, faith is just belief in the unseen. And I just knew it was possible. And I just had to find that right door.
Yeah, I love that. There's that moment where it goes from realization. It's like, wait, this is pest control. Like, everybody has bugs. Yeah. Everybody hates bugs.
Especially in Arizona.
Yeah, I kill them.
Yeah. It was cool.
That's that you brought more clarity to that story. Those 3 things stand out, and I still remember like looking over from the driver, like looking over from where I was at, and just seeing you pick your phone up, and it just being completely shattered. You could
destroyed.
You could like, it wasn't one of those was just a minor crack. Yeah. It was gone.
Yeah, it was gone.
All right. So through the first year, because that year That year in Chicago, we hadn't yet set guys up to make as much as they do now, right? So you stopped knocking a little bit before the end of April because we all did.
Yeah.
And had you knocked through, because you just barely were outside of the top 10. So I hold myself responsible for this in some ways, because we didn't start going through the end of August.
Yeah.
But you were just outside of the top 10 rookies, and you didn't knock a full August or even close to it. So that was kind of the first year that you were on the doors, then transitioned to, you knocked 2019, and that was your first year leading the office. What were the shifts that you kind of remember from the transition from your rookie summer to your first experienced year?
I think it was all just, for the most part, it wasn't much skill set. I mean, a lot of people don't know, after my first summer, you probably remember, I was not going to come back to EcoShield. I wasn't going to do door to door, because I was like, all right, dude, I cleaned house. I learned my sales skill. I'm going to go do something bigger. You know, when you're not here, when you get spoiled with something so good like EcoShield so early on, you just think that it's good everywhere. You know, you think you could go do anything, any sales job, and just be insanely successful at it. But what I realized over that year off season, where I didn't spend time reading book clubs, polishing my skill, my craft, and my mind, like, I realized that I was not good at sales. Like, you can be not good at sales and just be a personable person and be successful at this job. So I think the biggest shift from first year to second year to lead the office for me was just avoiding distractions. You know, I'm not going to mention names, but there was influencers around me my rookie year, my second year a little bit, and less my third year, where there was people that were my boys that I hung out with every single day that I knew were distracting me. And the hard part is, like, to get better and improve, the reason that they say, like, the road to the top is lonely is because there's so many people you have to cut out that are bad influences on you. So I limited my exposure to those people during the summer, especially. After the summer, I hung out with them like every day, and I just locked in, spent less time off the doors, was more efficient with my morning routine, getting out to Hood, my lunch, and everything else. Now lunches are a joke, like, you just don't do them because we improve over time. EcoShield's gotten so good with holding a standard and helping guys make more money. But yeah, I would say more than anything, it was just being efficient on the doors, efficient with my time, and spending as much time as I could knocking. There's an old fishing saying that they say that you can't catch fish with your rod out of the water. Like, all it is, the more time that your rod's in the water, the more likely you are to catch a fish. And it's the same with doors. Like, if you're taking a 30-minute break every 2 hours to, like, rest or fix your mindset, the more time that your line is out of the water, the less likely you are to catch a fish or make a sale, you know?
Yeah, 100%. What else in particular, before we leave the topic, comes to mind when I say what's important in your preparation process?
Preparation process, I just did the same thing every day.
What was that?
Every year I've done that. Every year it's changed a little bit. It's gotten healthier. It's gotten better, more locked in. But like my rookie year, I would drink a bang on my way out to the doors, drink 2 tornadoes, and I took a lunch. And I would take a lunch every single day, get back out to Hood, finish the day with, like, dude, 5 guys or something. Back then it was our first year in Northville apartments. And it was the same thing every single day, but it wasn't the best things. So just doing something the same every single day, similarities. I think I heard, maybe it was Avery talk about it at Pro Bowl one time, where he drank a blue Gatorade every day. And there was one day where the gas station stop didn't have a blue Gatorade, and he bageled.
I think it's Oren.
It could have been Oren, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing that story, and it was like, I don't know how we all fall into this same thing. It's just like, it's monotony, but there's so much freedom that comes with that, doing the same thing every single day, because you eliminate options that you don't really need. So this past year, every single day, Panera knew me. My order was ready to pick up before I even ordered it, because I ordered it same exact time, every single day, same order. And every day I'd pick up that Panera, go to the office 45 minutes early. I'd prep anything that I needed to prep for like the morning meeting or Hood or anything like that. And at night, I would do the exact same thing every day. I'd drink a hydrogen tablet. That was my like chill down, calm down. I do anything on hood, scope hood, anything login wise, computer related every single night. So that way I could just wake up in the morning with the tasks that I had the prior day already complete, you know?
That's huge. Can you remember a moment that you would define as a breakthrough moment or a breakthrough realization that elevated your sales skill set?
Skill set in particular.
Your ability to sell.
My ability to sell. Yeah, I think my first breakthrough in like ever at EcoShield was my probably a little bit over halfway through my first summer. Okay. And I realized that like how many times do you get somebody to their backyard and you see like a hornet nest and it's just a lay down, you know? I remember first summer there was way less times that training in general, like it was just like sell. You're on the doorstep. There's very little movement training. And if there was movement training, it was like, you know, go to the AC unit, go to the backyard, look at the deck, whatever. And I started doing this thing where it was like the inspection. And when I first brought up the inspection, I don't even know if Mike and Alan remember it, but I remember, I think it was Alan. He told, or either Mike, he told me that people would think that I was casing their house to break in. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll try it. We'll see what works. You just got to change things up a little bit. And I bought a scope camera.
I remember this, man.
And I would show people pictures on this little 2-inch screen on a scope camera. And I realized that if you can offer to provide value to somebody before asking for payment in return, people trusted you so much more. Not only that, I could show them the problems on their house, not just talk about wasp nests that the neighbors had, but problems on their house and how I would solve them. So it's literally exactly what you try to do in sales is find a problem, propose a solution. People don't know they have a problem if you're just pitching them at the front door. They don't go around their house. I've never even gone around my house looking for bugs, you know, not one single time.
Yeah, that's wild. I don't think I have either.
Yeah. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of funny, but yeah, that was the first thing that really broke through to me and increased my closing ratio an insane amount was offering value to people before asking for payment in return, before closing them.
Hey, so one of the things that stands out to the people that have been around you over the years would be performing under pressure. All right. So for me, a lot of these stories involve Shield, you know, the different battles that we've had over the years. But what is that? What do those time frames bring out of you? How do you view the stretch of knocking days that is Shield? And if we can start back in 2020, 2021, so you really got that reputation. What was that like?
Well, I mean, even back to 2018, granted, the whole office culture wasn't Shield driven, but I remember like all the guys that were on your team were all driven to win Shield. Mm-hmm. And I remember they used to not have sales cutoffs, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember driving around in pitch black outside. The last day of Shield, I remember selling a guy and it was 11 o'clock at night.
Yep.
And his garage door was open, light was on. So I approached him and I was like, I know this is completely crazy. Like, I'm aware, but we're in a serious competition. I do so many neighbors. I'll do it lowest cost. We sprayed the inside of his garage, marked as serviced. Because it used to be had to service that day.
Yep.
There was no, oh, you have to have it serviced by the next Wednesday. And so I remember just complete psychotic, like driving around 11 o'clock at night, finding sales. Mm-hmm. And, but like overall Shield in general, I mean, it brings out the competition and everything brings out the best in everyone. You know, there's a reason there's more people to watch the NFL than college football and high school football. Like people want to see elite and elite comes out with competition. 2020, I remember Jerry Schatzman, freaking that guy. I think I sold 40 some K that week to win Shield. That was awesome. And I was on non-reporting probation. I got a trespassing ticket for fishing.
Yup, I remember that. Yup.
And if I would have gotten a misdemeanor, I would have gone to jail. COVID year, they didn't let us get soliciting permits in Bloomfield Hills because it was like, I don't know. They thought we were going to be super spreaders or something. Mm-hmm. And the HOA president called the cops on me 4 times they stopped me, talked to me.
Let's go. Hey, let's go through that. Let's go through that story. It's kind of an iconic story. A lot of people know about it.
Yeah. Well, long story short, it was one huge subdivision of like single unit condos. They all had an association. They had basic pest control spraying from, I can't even remember what company. Super cheap, only outside, no rodents. And I met the HOA president on one side, but it looked like just one massive neighborhood. So I had talked to the association president, I thought. And so I sold on that side like crazy, man. I remember I threw up like probably 18 sales in a 3-day span. And I went to the other side of the neighborhood, and of course I'm like, yeah, I've talked to the HOA president. He knows I'm in here. Didn't know there was a different association. So Jerry and I, we started off on the wrong foot, man. Freaking Jerry. And I remember the first time I ran into him, I sold his neighbor across the street, and he was getting serviced. And he came over and asked me what he was doing, or what I was doing. And started off on the wrong foot. He was like, you can't be in here. Okay, I'll just leave at the end of the day, whatever. And I just avoided that area. There was a new move that was 2 doors down from him. It was the final straw. After he got calls on me for like 2 days straight and called the police, they'd come up and they're always cool. Like, I just pitch them. Yeah, I just do a group rate out here. Anybody I can get on. Super cheap. Tried to go get permits, but Bloomfield Hills doesn't allow permits right now. Bloomfield Township. And every time the girl cop was chill. She was like, I don't care, but if I get another call or I keep getting calls, like, I'm going to have to write you a ticket. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just avoid this area in general. And there was a new move that was 2 doors down from Jerry. So the final straw. And I had sold everybody in there. I mean, I probably had 45 customers in there, and absolutely hilarious because I was signing him up. And Jerry came out to walk his dog and saw me. I just remember him screaming my name, and he had this little dog with him. He was walking his dog. He was like literally throwing that thing on the leash. I'm like, Jerry, chill. The dog had nothing to do with this, you know? And the neighbor was just like, what is going on right now? Like, these guys just know each other and they hate each other. And long story short, 4 police cars pulled up on me. Still no ticket. I was fine. Finally left the neighborhood and went to the neighborhood south because it was so juice. It looked the same. I was like, I'm just going to sign everybody up. 3 doors in, got the cops called. So I had them on me like 5 times in the matter of a week, mainly because of Jerry, you know. But yeah, that place, absolutely blessed. I mean, Detroit markets in general, you know. I think most markets in general, we only knock good areas. So, but that was Shield 2020. Shield 2020.
That was close. Like, that was close, man. I remember that year you and Ethan were both over 40K. Mm-hmm. And that was either, I think Alan was too. You, Ethan, and Alan. I think we're all over 40K that week. Yeah.
I remember, dude, Alan came out of retirement and
Ryan called him a dinosaur. That was funny.
Yep. And then 2021 was awesome. I remember I found this a duplex community, and I was knocking through it. It was right on the edge. Aptiv had destroyed the neighborhood. Right on the edge of the neighborhood, there was a duplex community. Mm-hmm. And I went in there, and I had such a buzz. I sold like 3 of my first 4 doors, and I had people coming up to the truck asking me if we could do their house too. Like, it was the ultimate buzz I've ever created. And so I left that day with like 5 sales, 2 in the neighborhood, 3 in that duplex community. Mm-hmm. Came back the next day, and that was the day that I sold 14 accounts, all bi-monthlies, like right at 1,000 CVA. And I ended up selling 28 or 29 of the houses in there, and there's probably only 40. So everybody was using us. I mean, the buzz was insane. And that led to, I think, our 2nd championship. But yeah, for the Shield, man, I'm willing to do anything. I had a really bad cavity in my tooth. It required like a root canal. And I was like, nah, I don't have time for that. I don't even want you to numb me. Just do like local numbing, because it was Shield. I needed to knock. Yeah. And I had an orthodontist literally pull my tooth out, remove it. Since then I've gotten an implant, but I had him pull my tooth out so that way I could knock the rest of the day. Sold 4 accounts that day for Shield. And that was just a normal Shield matchup. Not even finals, quarterfinals, semifinals, nothing. But it's just the pressure to perform. I think some people negatively are impacted by it. And it's because they feel the pressure and the need to produce at a high level. But if you feel that need and that pressure to produce and you let it impact the way that you're selling, your selling style, then I think it can negatively impact people because that pressure is huge. You know, it's kind of like watching the Ryder Cup yesterday. In golf, they say the harder you try, the worse you play.
Yeah.
But if you focus on the fundamentals and the process, pressure should do one thing to you and one thing only, and that's to tighten up your process and what you're focusing on. Literally just the speed at which you're going door to door and your process itself. If you can make your process perfect, the outcome will happen. Yeah. And that's what happens in Shield. You just need to lock in your process and make everything better in that aspect, and your production will come. But if you just focus on the production aspect of it, you'll get crushed.
I like the way that you put that. I came to that understanding later in my career, was that the pressure that you feel, it means it's great. It's for the moment, right? Like the thing that you're doing matters. And exactly what you said, the framework that you said, I'm going to do everything I can control to the best of my ability. And then all the negative impact and energy, like it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
You're just focused on controllables, and the results are usually really good. Like, and you can always live with it either way because you did everything you could. So,
yeah.
All right. And then we're on the topic of Shield, men. This past year, I know that you guys in Grand Rapids, the Big Steppers, your squad, threw down for like the year during Shield competitions. You guys were winning games. And then towards the end, there were some challenges there. What's the team's kind of view of this past year, and what's the resolution for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think this last year, man, shout out to, I think we were going against Connecticut. Is that who Detroit East went against as well?
Yeah.
We were going against Connecticut. Detroit East, I'm pretty sure they beat them.
It's so close right now.
Oh, I'd put money on it. But, dude, they had their all-time best week for quarterfinals. Knocked us out. I mean, their quarterfinals round with us, they did the same amount of rev as they did in the semifinals, almost, in a 2-week period. Or the finals, in a 2-week period against Detroit East. They almost did the same amount of rev in 1 week against us that they did 2 weeks against Detroit East.
Wow.
So we got cooked, but I think a lot of it fell back on us. Like, obviously, competitors, they can have good weeks, and they had a great week. I mean, they were phenomenal. But I think what happened at the, especially towards the end of the summer or midsummer, like, you know, I was the rule keeper. I was the bad guy. I was the dad. When guys needed to get cut due to lack of production, we had to cut them. And towards the end, I started getting a little bit lenient with it because, you know, you got managers that are just so up and coming and growing, and you want to please them. You want them to be happy. And sometimes, like, it's a good thing. You care about your boys so much that you're willing to say that you want them to stay, even though you know it hurts the quality of the team. But you don't want to see your boy go home. So it's just something that happened. So I tried getting a little bit more lenient with it towards the second half of the summer. And I think what people realized was, as soon as somebody realizes that another person isn't taking it seriously and you let them go with it, like they just stay on the team, then before you know it, I'm playing golf on a Thursday, you know, in prime time. Like, as soon as you give an inch, they'll take it a mile.
You've done that once in your career, to be fair.
I don't know if I have.
Oh, well, then I would say, like, I didn't know that you'd ever done that. So I was like,
never
done that. I never heard about that before, bro.
Or even knocking hours. But yeah, it's been temptation. But
sure.
Yeah, it's like, as soon as you let somebody stay that doesn't meet a certain requirement, the rest of the team realizes that the requirement isn't really held.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. And before long, somebody does something minor or barely misses a minimum. And the next guy's like, how do I justify that? To the next guy that missed it by $10 more, missed it by $50 more, $100. So I think next year we just need to do two things. Number one, invest in our rookie class a lot more, time, energy, training. And number two, there just has to be such strict standards held. You know what I mean? If somebody misses minimums by $1, like, there is no exception made. Because if there's one thing I've learned, and going back to my very first year, like, you get what you earn here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's no special deals. There's no handouts. You get what you earn, and you earn what you kill. essentially. You know what I mean? It's just so primitive. And I love being able to tell my guys that I never got any special incentive. I never got any special treatment. Like the way it was the way it was. Because there's
It's very different than the rest of the industry.
100%.
That's way different here.
Yeah, but what's sweet is like you're not playing favorites. I mean, if you're like in other pest control companies that say like, oh, we'll give you this percent because we really like you. Or marketing deals where you have to squish the people below you so you can make more money. And some people you squish way more than others in a marketing deal because you like other guys. You want them to come back, right? And it's here. It's like you eat what you kill. So
hey, there was something that along those lines that makes me think of. There was a guy that worked here and he did pretty well. This was like years and years ago. He went to a different company that guaranteed him the percentage that he had to work towards on the pay scale to get here. And he left for that reason. He wanted it guaranteed. We don't guarantee it. You got to work your way up the pay scale here. He had that guaranteed amount. He sold roughly half, a little bit over half what he sold here.
Yeah.
He sold at the company that he went to because they guaranteed him the amount that he worked his way up the pay scale for. So he was significantly less paid. He just wanted the certainty that he was going to get the same percent that he could have worked his way to.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, just along with anything in life, like there's so much certainty. When I was an engineering technician, there was a certainty about how much I was going to get paid, my bonus structure, my paid time off, my vacations, like all of that, you know, all of that is so certain. But what you give up with certainty is freedom, I feel, you know, because like you're not working towards something. It's already there. No matter what you do, it's there. It's not going to change. So I feel like, I don't know, over the years, I've been offered some crazy offers, like insane offers. Somebody messaged me this summer and I don't even know who it was, what company. And they were like, what would it take for you to leave EcoShield? Would $1 million do it? And I was like, nah, wouldn't. I mean, like if we're closer to 3, we can talk, but definitely nothing near $1 million. So it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just the long-term vision here, man. You can build something that's real.
Yeah. I like the fact too, one of the things that I got a bad feel for, this is back in the Wild West days, is that everybody had secret deals. Like, you know, you would get to talking to the guys and it's like, this guy had been promised this percentage and this guy had been promised this percentage. And that was just like, everybody had been promised, nobody else is getting this. All right. You're getting this percentage. And then we all talked one night, like we were just doing what kids, you know, we were hanging out, doing what kids do after the doors or whatever. And we're just all like, bro, you all got told the same thing at different percentages. And it was such a sketch.
Huge disparity,
man.
too.
And so the professionalism, the synchronicity that you work your way to what you get, it also allows for long-term growth, for the service to be much better, investment in the service, which ends up leading to more profit, which ends up leading to more of the business model being a real thing where you can become an entrepreneur here and earn money long-term. So anyway, that is, I think, one of the things I appreciate a lot about what EcoShield did to legitimize certain areas of the door-to-door space.
100%.
Yeah. So obviously this is a really competitive atmosphere that we have during the summer. When you're out there in the field, what metrics are you aware of? What metrics do you track? Or are you just process focused?
My first years, like my rookie year, every single day, it was before we had the closing ratios and the spreadsheet that would show you, you know, how many doors you pitched, red pins, price sheet, closes, backyards. Before that, I had a notes app and I would just screenshot my knocking path for that day and I'd mark off every single person I talked to with like a little red marker. And I tracked my closing ratio. And after that, I realized like when you know your statistics so much, like no shade to like Ryan Icebergs, but he knows his statistics so much that I feel like when I did that and I went 5 doors in a row that didn't buy, I was like, dude, I'm better than this. Like, I'm way better than this. They should have bought by now. And knowing my statistics and I should have made a sale, it kind of crushed me. Because I'm like, maybe it's just a little off. Like, my pitch is a little bit off. Versus if I just focus on the process and just doing the next thing right, it doesn't matter if I've talked to 10 people in a row that said no, because I'm not thinking about my close ratio. I'm just doing the same exact process until it clicks. You know what I mean? So I don't really like tracking closing ratio as much nowadays. When you're getting better, obviously you need to track those. I get better very slowly now. I mean, I still think that I have way more to improve, but tracking it whenever you're accelerated learning, rookie year, second year, third year, I think it's good. But after third year, like fourth year plus, I don't think those guys should just always be obsessed with their closing ratio and their numbers. You can look at them for guidance, but actually just having them constantly thinking about it, I think it can deter you. But
Okay.
I think that might just be the way I look at it.
That's it. That's your paradigm that is working for you.
One of the biggest things that I realized, like first year, second year, third year, is like there's levels to this. You know what I mean? There's so many levels. After my rookie year, I went off and tried doing this digital marketing agency because I was a sales legend. You know, like I thought I knew sales. I thought I was an expert in sales. I was the top rookie in Chicago that year. Me and Anthony Peelan, I think, were like neck and neck right there. And I mean, I had the highest CBA, and I thought I was the dog. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'll just take this sales skill to my own business and, you know, absolutely blow up. And after about like 5 months, I realized like I truly hardly knew anything about sales. You know, like I could say words right. My tonality was pretty good, my pausing, but it was like understanding the psychology, body movements, people being closed off, mirroring matching, pacing and leading, like all of those things I didn't really understand. And so second year, I started to pick up on that stuff and how to improve those aspects of sales. And I feel like now whenever I'm knocking, I just got done knocking the last 2 weeks with Asa Ferguson, Peter Fleming. Peter Fleming's
Dogs.
top 15 rookie, shout out. Asa's 20th. I mean, literally right there. And it's all within like $15,000 a rev. So it's really close. But when I was knocking with those guys and I'd watch them pitching someone, you know, somebody would cross their arms and I'd be sitting in the car just like, cross your arms, man, cross your arms, just match them. First you got to mirror, then you can pace them, like control the conversation. And it's like those things where those guys are dogs. They're so good. They worked hard. They found sales, but they had no idea. They were unconsciously incompetent. They had no idea that they didn't know.
That's wild because they're the best of the rookie class. Yeah.
And that's what's crazy is just realizing there's levels. When you think you've reached the pinnacle of your level, like when you've reached the top of the mountain and you get there, you just see another mountain that's taller, you know, and you realize that there's so much more to learn. And then you start as a baby on the next level. And it's like video games. I always refer to the doors as video games because there's unlimited lives. You can literally, in Super Mario and a lot of video games, you can just die as many times as you want because there's always a fresh door. There's always another life. So, you know, there's freedom to try things differently, change things. But the more and more that you start getting attuned to and accustomed to like noticing things in the sales process, like people being closed off, hands on hips, people talking down on you, like all of those different things, like there's different ways you can combat those situations and come out on top. And the levels of it, man, you can get so deep into sales, so deep into psychology. Like I literally show an open palm hand because psychologically it shows that you're unarmed from thousands of years of people combating each other and going to war. Showing my hand alone subconsciously opens them more up to conversation. So there's just so many different things in sales where you can get better. Even myself.
Yeah, you know, it's funny when you first sat down, and in this situation, I wasn't doing the mirroring, so it was you, and you probably weren't even doing it consciously. But if you look back in the first part of this, I had my hands.
Oh, I noticed.
I looked over and your hands were folded. I was like, he can't help it. Like you just do it naturally. So I know that during the course of the summer, and during the course of the hiring season, a lot of people come to you asking, how can I improve? So I have a question specifically for you with this being the scenario. An average rep, all right, is looking to improve. They make it through the summer, but they're not doing anything spectacular. Based off of your experience, what's the first thing that you would have them start to focus on to improve in order to up their production?
Mindset. Yeah, it's almost never, if somebody's finished a summer it's rarely skill set that's the shortcoming. Like you've pitched 10,000 people at this point. You've said your pitch so many times. You've had so many different interactions. Every interaction was slightly different in its own way. But it's almost always mindset. You know, it's
what are the mindset shifts that you see help people improve the most?
I know for me, after my first summer, it was when like Josh Hecox was popping off originally, like OC was going crazy Orange County that year. And those guys all did insane numbers. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, I do this same exact job. I work nearly the same exact hours. Like, why not me, essentially? You know, that should be me. So I just, mindset wise, I think you just have to be way more solidified. Like listening to some people's pitch, I listen to so many people's pitch, and they'll let somebody upset them and derail them. One story that really sticks out in my mind is a couple of years ago, we had a sales rep named Victoria. She came out, and there was this guy that came out so hot. She was a rookie. I was shadowing her, and she's like, yeah, I just sold the door 2 doors down from him. And she name dropped him and a couple other people. And he was like, that's such a load of crap, you effing scammers. Like, get out of here. And I'm like, whoa, dude, like, that's your neighbor 2 doors down. Actually his name. And he was like yelling at me profanities, calling me like a 5 foot tall midget and all kinds of stuff. And I left that door literally laughing.
Right.
And I went straight up to the next door, and she's like shaking behind me. Yep. You know, she's like, what just happened? And I went straight up to the next door and knocked it harder than ever. And I was like, watch this. Like, watch, I'm going to sell this guy, and this is going to be hilarious. He's going to see my truck every day. every day. And it's like just that solidified mindset where it was like, that guy was crazy. That's hilarious. Imagine living a life. But it's the way you frame things that happen throughout your day. Like some people will say, they'll get a flat tire. Why is this always me? Why does this stuff always happen to me? You know, and it's like, dude, just another obstacle. This is hilarious. This is freaking funny. Like, of all the times this would happen, you know, it was in this moment. So I think people take life too seriously. And I think that strengthening your mindset can also be just finding humor in things and not letting things affect you. The second thing would be just resetting quicker. Because to no surprise to everybody listening to this, everybody has hard days, especially in sales. And hard days, hard weeks, maybe a hard couple hours. And there's times where I'll pitch like 30 people in a row and not sell a single one. And I'm not like, oh, well, my closing ratio is 1 in 3. I should have sold 10 by now. It's like, okay, what's actually going on? Like, this is crazy, you know? It's wild. Like, you can stay neutral to a point, but there comes a point where everybody cracks. And they're like, okay, what is going on? And it's just goldfish memory. You just have to reset quicker. If you let somebody canceling midday that you sold in the morning that you thought was a super solid sale ruin the rest of your day's mindset, because it's like, why would that guy cancel? He was so dope. He was so cool. He should have never canceled. He needed us. He was infested. And you just carry that throughout the rest of the day. Chances are you're not going to sell another account that day.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Hey, one of the things that you mentioned earlier, right? The different way that you frame things, and you're like the person that says, why does this always happen to me? First of all, I can predict that person's not going to be successful in life. It's pretty easy. Yeah. Like, why does it always happen to me? Because they perceive themselves as unlucky. And one thing I can tell you based off my life is that I'm the luckiest person that I've ever met. You might feel the same way. And no matter what happens, I'm the luckiest person ever. Like, whatever the paradigm is, whatever the thing is that I went through that led me here, I'm lucky because of that thing. And then your mind will come up with a reason for which it's lucky. Like challenges in your life made you stronger, whatever it is. So that's absolutely huge. I encourage anybody that's looking to be a top performer, to become really successful, to just have an upward trend in their life, to consider themselves incredibly lucky, because we are. The times in history that we were born in, the country that we were born in, for almost everybody that's going to be listening to this, the opportunities that we have, usually the health that you're able to, be grateful for, the skill set, if you're doing door to door, the fortitude, whatever it is, the network of people that you have. There are so many things to be grateful for and for which we are lucky. I mean, dude, can you imagine having been born in a time frame where most people didn't make it through childhood?
Yeah.
We didn't have AC in the house. We didn't have heat in the house. You got to go outside in the freaking cold where you might get eaten by like a wolf or something, chop down some wood, come back, try to start a fire. Your wife's like crazy. So she just died from giving birth to your fourth kid, and 2 of your kids are already dead, and you're trying to figure out how to feed the other one. Dude,
crazy.
That's what we are so lucky.
I know.
Anyway, that was a little tangent, but that's so important, is that understanding.
And the luckiest people in life are the ones that have tried the most times. You know, it's like I've had some crazy lucky instances where I knock on somebody's door. My rookie year, I knocked on somebody's door, started going through my intro. Hold up 1 second. Goes inside, comes out with a sticky note, EcoShield written on it, and the phone number. She's like, I was about to call you guys. You know? And it's like, some people would just say, dude, you're so lucky. And it's like, no, I talked to so many people that happened.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if you work hard enough and do something enough, you have enough exposure, your line's in the water long enough, you will be lucky.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hey, 100%.
Yeah. The people that are unlucky are the people that don't try. The people that don't do anything.
They don't try for long enough.
I know.
They don't try for long.
I always say the only people that aren't successful at this job are the ones that quit too soon. You know, we've seen so many people come through EcoShield, some still here, some gone. And if we were on DraftKings and we were putting sports bets on like over, under, how long they would last, how much they would produce, there's guys where you would expect them to last a week that lasted 4 years and made $100,000 summers. Mm-hmm. You know, it's crazy. And all it is they didn't quit. They did not quit. And it's an infinite game that we play. It's a long-term game. I always tell people, I don't care what you can sell in a day, a week, or a month. I care about how long you can do this for. Because if you can outlast everybody else, just like businesses and huge corporations and Fortune 500 companies, if you can outlast everybody else, there's guaranteed success.
Sometimes all you have to do is just last.
That's literally it. That's literally it. I have guys right now that used to work with me that would be millionaires. Millionaires.
Yep.
And because they saw a shiny object or they thought a deal was better somewhere else and left, they're not.
There's actually been some heartbreaking situations like that.
Heartbreaking.
And the thing is that a lot of times they're just sold by other salesmen that are misleading them to thinking that like you can, I always tell people, you can have success at a ton of different things. But the reality is that there was a podcast that I watched, I guess an interview that I watched years ago that has had unbelievable amounts of impact on my life. And it was where Warren Buffett was being interviewed. And they were asking him what's the biggest mistake that people make as to why they don't become wealthy. And like this will live in my mind forever. I have referred to this in so many different challenging situations or times where I was offered really shiny objects. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't know anybody at this company before I got here. I'm not a warm lead.
Yeah.
I've been offered everything just like you have. And this interview, he goes through, he says, well, people change what they're doing way too soon. He doesn't get specific about what it is they're doing. He just says they change what they're doing too soon. He said, in order to achieve high levels of success, you need to put your head down in an endeavor where there's upward mobility for at least 10 years. Mm-hmm. So then you lift your head up and you will be wealthy.
Yep.
And then you can decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. You can double down on that. You can switch to something else, but you achieved wealth. And so that's been something that over and over and over and over, I've referred back to that when I've gotten crazy offers up front from different companies, like things within our industry or different startup ventures or whatever it is. Yeah. So shout out to Warren for that.
Yeah, no, I learned from you, bro. From day one, I remember you told me, because I would ask you like, what's next? What's next? You were like, I got 4 more years until I readjust and look at my stuff. And I commit in 5-year increments. I got that from you. And I think this is my 3rd year in partnership. So I won't even think about doing a different venture for at least 2 years. And then I'll sit down and I'll really look at it. And I'll say, is this how much I want to make? People that are doing the same thing that I'm doing right now in 5 years, like they have 5 more years of experience. Like what are they earning? What are they making? And what does their life look like? And then I'll make a decision based off that and say, I'll either stay or I'll go. And every time that I've made that decision in the past, I've stayed. But it's one of those things where no matter what, rough seas or calm sailing, I'm committed for 5 years at a time. And doing that, you just eliminate all those options. Like, I think, Alabama's head coach, so famous for talking about like eliminating options, or the illusion of choice. And it's like, if I just remove choices because I'm 100% committed, my results are going to be astronomically better because I'm stuck. My feet are planted. I'm doing this. So
at this point in your career, what excites you the most, and where do you see, yourself going, your development going here in the next few years?
Yeah, I think the most exciting thing since partnership, because like, it, but probably not many people know it. I never sought to be a partner. I mean, the fact that I came out for my first summer was crazy. The fact that I partnered was crazier. And I think the thing that I've fallen in love with the most with this job and overall just partnership is developing people. Like, it's so cool. You see these guys that, like I mentioned Jackson earlier, but Jackson Fitz, like that guy, 18 years old, he knocked his first door when he was 17, just graduated high school, like had very little direction in life. What is he going to do? Like, that guy has the world at his hands, at his fingertips. And there's so many more examples. You know what I mean? Like Kyle, like so many guys that I worked with, that I roomed with, they just had little direction in a day, in an era like today, full of lazy people. To be a hard worker and come do this job and develop yourself, develop your talent, and grow a team, and not only find financial success, but develop the skills that are necessary to succeed in life. That's the coolest thing. That's literally the coolest thing. Colin Simcox is a super cool example too. My partner in GR. He, the first year that he came out, it was COVID year. He was going to college only to play football.
Yeah.
COVID year shut down his football dreams, shut down the season, and didn't know what to do in life. Literally no idea. Saw TikTok, hired him off of TikTok, and now he's a business partner. Team is did more than $6 million of revenue this year. Active revenue. That's crazy. That guy had no idea what he was going to do for life 5 years ago.
Yep. Hey, I could not agree more. You know what's more fun than winning
is your boys win.
Winning with your boys, man. Like, every year, one of the best days that I get to experience every year is when we're in Mexico, man. And like, us and the rest of the Outlier partners are literally on a yacht, smoking cigars, like play poker, having some drinks, having a good time. The guys, girls are there. Like, and it's just, how did we get here? Like, how did we end up getting here? And you're there with people that would, like, they actually, dude, I have partners that I don't worry about, like, having relationships with, where we have backstabbing relationships. And you know how unusual that is in life.
Yeah.
I know we all got our own crap. We got our own crap going on. We got our own lives, but I actually have never had to have that concern. And I've got, a couple different groups and stuff. And there's just a different thing that sometimes they have to consider than when you're actually going towards the same target, man. There's people that have so many different things in line here. We're looking to progress and grow this place. We don't pursue comfort as like the thing that we're aiming for, which
100%.
seems to be the thing in society. If you step out of high performance cultures, like going for comfort, which is just a lie after a little while anyway. Yeah. Like, you just realize
you got
it starts to suck real fast and things start to fall apart, and you start to fall apart because comfort's a facade. If you're chasing it, it's not what you think it is. So I'm really grateful for that. There's crazy stuff that on your way to winning, like, for example, we all work out. We all work out. One of us couldn't stop working out. I would call you and roast you until the end of time if you started, letting yourself go. And I know that you would do the same thing for me. That's good. Good. I want that. I just did a 120-hour water fast with a couple of my partners, which is ridiculous. I'm not doing that water fast without, I knew that there were some guys that I was not going to let that have like over on me. So finish the water fast. I did a 4x4x48. I was never going to do that, but I'm in a group chat with a bunch of people that I'm never going to let them have that over me. I'm like, if I start it, I'm not going to let them have that on me. So I'm going to finish it. So that winning with people is really, really just the best experience that I've got to parts outside of like a couple things, you know, like spirituality, your close family, winning with friends is like absolutely up there.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think what really excites me now is through just next steps with EcoShield. I think like sales wise, what excites me are just absolute mansions where you're just questioning whether like security is going to come out and shoot you. Like, dude, every time I'm driving through Miami and I'm like $15 million crib, I'm like, I would jump that fence so fast to get to that door. You don't even know. You don't even know. Oh my gosh. Nobody's ever pitched that guy. That's going to be a complete laydown. Dude. So that's what excites me sales wise. I mean, I love going into cookie cutters. I love going into lower income. Last year I sold 9 houses in a row in Muskegon. 9 in a row.
Got that screenshot?
Absolutely insane. I'm sure I got that screenshot. And the average home value was like $200K, $200 to $250K.
Oh, I remember that street.
Look, it's actually poverty.
Yep.
But poverty. But so I get excited about buzz days like that. But yeah, big houses and just where EcoShield's heading, man. EcoShield literally to the moon. You look at growth charts. I mean, to put it into perspective, my first year, right, 2018, Chicago. It was Mike's only office at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we broke a company record for revenue from a single location. And it was like $3 million.
18 might have been. We might have hit 5.
$3 to $5 million.
Yep.
Somewhere in that range, right? And I remember when Philadelphia first launched.
Yep.
How much did they do?
So their first year, it's hilarious because they way undershot their first year.
Yeah.
And they produced over 7 million.
And
then the following
first year office. The next year,
$15.5 million. Shout out to those absolute beasts out there.
Beasts.
Yep. One Shield as well. They secured Shield as well.
But I think about it like this, like Mike, his entire network did $3 to $5 million my first year in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And new revenue alone, what did they do this year? 75 million?
You're talking about Mike's system?
Yeah.
Right around there, yeah. Right around 70 plus.
That was, I mean, we're talking numbers that typically take decades to jump through those hoops and to reach those revenue goals. He's gone from 3 to 5 million to somewhere in the ballpark of 70 million in the matter of 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So just the trajectory that EcoShield is on top of the retention factor and keeping so many of our existing customers, like oh my gosh. And then you talk like what's next and the exciting things that we talk about in partner meetings. And it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, this thing is literally an unstoppable vehicle. It's. I
feel like we're in pest control. We're still early for what happened to Vivint.
Yeah.
I don't think we can talk about much more than that, but we're a little bit early as to, so what happened.
Yeah.
I think that we're
there's a lot of millionaires made.
There's a lot of millionaires.
There was a lot of millionaires made.
And multi-millionaires made as well.
And I feel like this is just a larger scale.
It's exciting. There's a favorite question that I have if I'm sitting next to somebody that I'm interested in speaking with at some point in the flight. All right. Because there's always this game. It's like, hey, am I going to open this up past like the small talk?
Yep.
And so if I do decide if there's somebody that's showing traits that I'm interested in finding more out about them, I ask them, what's your story?
Yeah.
All right. So let's say we're on a flight, obviously first class flight, say, from here to Mexico. And I ask you, hey man, what's your story? Could you hit me with that?
Yeah, it's I'll give it a little bit of a condensed version, but I've walked a lot of different lives, I mean, for starters, whenever I was in middle school, I mean, my real mom, she had an MS for like over 40 years, couldn't take care of us much. Like I was just a troubled kid. I get suspended constantly, like in trouble at school, but I was always just stupid smart. I mean, I had a reading level of an 11th grader when I was in 5th grade. which oftentimes led me into more trouble because school wasn't challenging for me. So I just looked for other ventures. 3 of my siblings got sent to rehab in middle school, hard drugs. Absolutely crazy, and I was just the outlier. Never got into that troubled stuff, luckily. But it got to the point where like I couldn't live with my mom. She just couldn't look after us. And so we got sent to basically like temporary homes, like not an adoption agency, but as close to it could get. And I moved to a farm in Nebraska. I worked there every single summer as a kid. Just hard work, manual labor. It taught me so much. And I lived there for probably 2 months before I got convinced to move here with my brother, different family. And I spent high school with them throughout the whole entire time. And it was tough. You know what I mean? Like, especially for the family. They had never dealt with teenagers before. Their kids were all younger. They didn't know what to expect. And they were probably harder on us than they should have been. But I think it's a blessing because I'm harder because of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've learned to forgive because of it. I've learned so much. Through high school, I had a couple different jobs, just making ends meet. Tent rental business that I worked for, lived across the street from, cutting firewood. Dude, hardest job I've ever done to this day. I didn't play any sports in high school because I just couldn't get rides. My senior year, I decided I was going to play sports. So I played football, I pole vaulted, and I wrestled.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And there were some times where, like, I finished up with wrestling practice and I'd have to walk 4 miles home, middle of winter, just wild. The bus driver actually that ran my route that I ride the bus home with, when I didn't play sports, she would see me walking home because she drove down that road to her house every day. And multiple times she would give me rides home.
Real one.
Because she would just see me walking. Yeah, just real one, cared about me. And so I was willing to do anything just to be involved with sports. I didn't excel at any of them. Pole vaulting, I got invited to like a state track meet at the end of the year. I already had my senior plan set in place. I was going to Kettering University. Like, they only have intercollegiate sports. There's no real like win for me to go there. So I didn't do that. After high school, it was crazy. So ended up moving out, getting kicked out of my house that I lived with, adopted parents. Since then I've made amends, like we're cool, but slept in my truck, essentially in hospital, in the parking lot there for like a week and a half. I was interning at Magna Electronics right down the road. And one of the guys that I worked with, Adam, like still a G to this day, he invited me to live with him in his house that he bought. It was a foreclosed house. None of the walls had drywall. It was all stripped. And I slept on an air mattress. In his living room, no blinds. Huge window that faced the street every day for 9 months. And not only was it sleeping on an air mattress, it would deflate in the middle of the night every night. But I was fancy, bro. I got one of those ones that with a pump in it.
Yeah.
So I'd wake up like 3 a.m. in a little taco. It'd be folded. And I'd be on the freaking wood floor, basically. And I just reach up and I just inflate it. As soon as it was done inflating, I could sleep through the night, get to the morning. And I did that for 9 months. While I did that, instead of paying him rent, I helped him fix up his house. So I learned trades, I learned skills, I learned how to drywall, electrical, plumbing, all that stuff. That's how I learned that aspect of my life and all those skills. And that was a super cool time in life because I just learned so much. There was so much freedom. I didn't rely on anybody. I could disappear for a week and nobody would even ask me where I was. And found out a lot about myself and learned a lot. And then my grandpa had passed away. A lot of people don't know, but my grandpa was insanely wealthy.
Yeah. Who was he?
He in this era would be a billionaire. Charlie Myers, he built the University of Nebraska-Lincoln Performance Center. Jacob Hull, when he played football there, his little brother still to this day worked out in the exact performance center that he built. He donated. He built University of Dubuque, Iowa's library.
Wow.
Super cool. Donated like $8 million to it. He was one of 9 people that owned a private jet, not through a business, in the 90s, early 90s. Crazy. First plane that I ever rode in was a private jet.
Wow.
nuts.
So you've just gone downhill from there.
So I don't say it to like brag or boast, but there's so many people that were in my position that would have just coasted. You know, they would have just not done anything difficult in life because they were set up. But I had big shoes to fill. He passed away and I had like a crisis moment. I was like, what do I do in life? Like, I don't know. I was interning at Magna at that time. I didn't have like a full-time position or anything. So I was like, I'll go into the military. Moved down to Missouri with my sister. Built up a little bit of a faith. And before I went into the military, I backed out because I got an offer from Magna that was like $30 an hour with overtime, benefits, vacation, everything.
That sounded, back then that sounded sweet.
Dude, I was making, like take home a week over $1,000, but on paper, it was like $1,400 a week. Yeah, 1099 is amazing. People that work a wage, it sucks. So much taxes. And, but that's about the time that you found me. Is I was an engineer there for probably a year and a half, 2 years, manufacturing engineering technician. And that's when you met me at the gym. And it was right towards the end of my Magna career. And I mean, ever since then, my main thing has just been EcoShield. You know, I've tried side ventures. I tried starting a digital marketing agency with one of my buddies, John, like still a go to this day. And it's just, man, when you find something that is like EcoShield, there's no other business that you could get in with zero risk other than your time and be rewarded in the way that we're rewarded, you know?
Yeah.
And even if I was to go start my own venture, my own pest control company, when people tell me they want to do that, like, I laugh. And it's not laughing at them, but it's laughing at the fact that they have no idea what it's going to take. I mean, I gave my heart, sweat, and blood to try and starting a digital marketing agency. I lived on the beach in Puerto Rico, and John and I would force ourselves to go outside for an hour a day. We had to force ourselves.
Wow.
Because we were working 16 to 18-hour days, just trying to get it off the ground 8 months straight. And what I realized in that off season is, dude, don't take it for granted. You know, like EcoShield is an unstoppable vehicle. And as long as you can just hold on to the ride for long enough, you'll succeed.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on while we're living our lives, right? Like we get to specialize. Anybody that's listening to this can see the level of communication skill you've developed, and you get to go do that thing and just all gas, no brakes. You get to go sell, and then you get to work with and lead and teach other people to do that thing that you are excellent at.
100%.
And then while you're doing that, there is an enormous machine that is running to take care of every other part of the business.
Everything.
And so that's where the gratitude comes in, that we get to live the lives that we do. We do what we're excellent at, teach other people to do that. And the work-life balance is completely different than trying to run 100% of a machine, which is absolutely, I mean, hey, shout out to the few people that do it well, you know, in America. But very happy, very grateful for it as well.
Well, not even is the machine just huge, but dude, it's well timed, it's well oiled.
Now it is, bro.
The upgrades.
Yeah,
we're throwing a supercharger on that thing. We're literally forging the internals, like the engine that we have built for EcoShield. I say we. I've had very little part in it.
We've all had. If we've been here for long enough, we've had a little part of it.
We've sculpted it a little bit.
Little part.
We've thrown some ideas out there, but it's like to be able to benefit and profit from a business to the extent that we have is insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
So that's basically my life story. I think it's crazy because, I mean, I keep it very closed with like how much money I have, but most people don't know, like I could literally retire.
Well, Tanner, that's what I've always respected about what you do. Yeah. You chose not the comfortable route when you could have. Like I remember finding this out.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll keep a lot of this information for whichever you want to share, but you do not have to do this.
Yeah.
And you chose to do this, and you teach other people what you're excellent at, and you put in the hours to do that. And that's something that very, very few people in that same position would do. And I've always really respected that about you.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like I remember my first year, or even before my first year, when you're doing something that isn't difficult, people would always be like, Tanner's a trust fund baby, you know? Like, he was set up for success. He doesn't need to do anything. Like, it was almost like talking down on me. And so I stopped telling almost anybody, like hardly anybody that watches this is going to know like the amount of success that I have that I didn't work for. But they also don't know how hard it is to work as hard as I do and for as long as I do, knowing that I'm completely fine without doing it financially. But I got to build something of my own, you know? My grandpa's success aside, like he set up his family for generations, but I want to create my own success. Mm-hmm. I want to have a private jet, you know? Mm-hmm. I want to have that 150-foot yacht. I want to have that Russian oligarch's yacht that's worth $500 million.
Let's go. Let's go till it gets confiscated. You know what I mean?
Like, man, and it's not for like ego or anything. Like a lot of people that have met me know that very little of my decisions are based off ego, you know? Like I'll let anybody borrow my expensive things. I'll let people drive my GT63S. I'll let Gage borrow my Plaid.
Nobody stop doing all that stuff with Tanner stuff.
But you know what I mean? Like I'll let people use it. It's nothing about the possessions, but it's just being able to like share it and show people what can become if you just put your head down, work, and commit yourself.
Yeah, well, hey, just so people don't get misconception, you've earned the stuff that they see. 100%. You've earned from this job. The other stuff is you can touch it if you want to, and it's for later in life and all that.
That stuff's, yeah.
Yeah.
Trust funds are all locked up until 40.
Yeah.
Research it.
So that's not where your money comes from as of now. But yeah.
Yep.
So, but I wanted to say thanks for coming out, taking the flight from Tampa here. Yeah. Been cool, man. Really looking forward to seeing what you and your team do this upcoming year. Do you have anything to let the team know as far as just everybody on your team is obviously going to see this? If you could just give them like, hey, here's what we're about to do this upcoming year. Here's what the focus is.
You know, every year there's difficulties and challenges, but every year there's success with it. So I think this upcoming year is going to be something that we've always dreamt about, just haven't had it to fruition. We got more guys locked in on the vision now than ever before. We got more guys that are bought into the Shield Champ mantra. Last year we were close, and this year's our year. Okay. I don't think there's any way somebody takes us down.
Hey man, looking forward to see it. It'll be a hell of a competition this year. Yeah. And looking forward to you and your team, the Big Steppers, doing what they do. So, yeah. Hey, thanks for coming in, and to everybody, see you guys next time.
See you guys.